I want to bring it up with a guy who's pushing this, a GOP consultant, Brian Murphy, considering this filing a plight with the party to get Donald Trump out of the party, at least in New York State. Sir, good to have you. I know you're on the phone right now. What is this about?
Hey, Neil, how are you?
Very good.
Joe Loder brought this up on TV on Monday night about the rules in New York, and basically the answer is, should Donald Trump be allowed to be a member of the Republican Party here in New York based upon his most recent comments? I think during this campaign cycle, I've watched from afar and paid attention to what he's been saying, and he said things that have been offensive and so forth. But I think this time when he rose to the issue of offending everybody on a religious basis and keeping people out of our country based upon religion, that's another story. I think.
But O'Brien, I know you're passionate about this, and I know Loder's passionate about this. Good Americans, you both. But do you feel that this should be up to voters? If you want to kick him out, that's one thing. Let voters kick him out. Let voters kick him to the game, if that's the case.
Well, I think given the election law in New York State at this point, yeah, the voters can kick him out. But he can move to Florida. He can become a member of the Florida Republican Party where he lives as well and obey those election laws. But if you're going to go out and do the things that he's been doing as of late, I think he has to realize the reflection on the Republican Party in its entirety. And his noble idea of trying to protect our country is the most important thing with this president has failed miserably at. But to deliver this kind of message and double down about keeping Americans out of our country if they're Muslim and just out of the country when he did that on Monday shows, I believe, his lack of being genuine and running for president.
Well, it hasn't hurt him in the polls, as you probably know, Brian. He picked up 8 points in South Carolina. He's picking up nationally. So he must be hitting a chord with people. And I guess it gets back to my view that, I mean, you might be disgusted by that, and others might share your view. But
how long do we stand on the sidelines and let this happen, I guess?
But let voters decide. Let voters decide.
So we have to sit here for more than another month at this point and listen to a Republican candidate talk.
But where do you draw the line, O'Brien? You know what I'm saying? I'm not even saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying we're for Donald Trump or against Donald Trump. But where do you draw the line on politicians you might find obnoxious or antithetical to your views?
Well, I think it's not a one-off issue. This is a history. He has written checks on a regular basis to Democrats, supported Democrats. He left the Republican Party and then came back to the Republican Party. He's just here for a matter of convenience.
He started out a Democrat, right?
But it started out and then he became a Republican. He didn't change every few years.
All right, it's a good point. I want to bring Noel Lickwer into this because, Noel, if he succeeds, and I understand the passion O'Brien brings to this, and many others share that view, but obviously it would be then a food fight among Republicans, right? And it could be very divisive, would it not?
Yeah, I mean, I understand what, Brian's saying by, not sitting on the sidelines and, taking a stance and doing something to get Donald Trump out of here. But it becomes kind of a sideline food fight, like you said, and I really think that we need to focus on getting through this process and let the voters decide. If they don't like Donald Trump and they don't think he represents the GOP, vote him down. Vote for Cruz, Rubio, Bush, Huckabee, Kasich. Vote for whoever you want and show the power that you don't like Donald Trump by voting him out.
What do you think of that, O'Brien?
We may have an opportunity here in New York to vote him out before the primary process starts and let him join another Republican Party somewhere. But the reality is he can't stand up and do what he's been doing.
Why is that your call? You know what I mean?
Well, it's not my call. It's up to the committee. Because that's the election law.
It's up to the committee. It's up to a group of individuals.
That's the election law here in New York. If you're going to be a member of the Republican Party, that's what you have to do.
People decide if he's a turkey, right?
Well, historically, I never thought that. I was not about that with him. I was purely right now about at what point do we stand up and say, wait, enough is enough.
Okay.
And he is representing the Republican Party at this point on a regular basis. He needs to be called. He needs to be called out for it. This is an opportunity.
Well, we'll watch this very closely. Noel, I want to thank you for weighing in on this again. I'm just counting the minutes or seconds. Donald Trump tweets on this. I have a feeling it might be very, very soon.